Hey team, hope everyone is well. Just want to do a quick little video here guys. I'm expanding on a topic that we discussed this morning in our recovery and regen based session, and that was the idea of posture, okay? And it's important to understand that posture is going to heavily influence the positions that we can get into and achieve, okay? And the body's always going to find or want to find what's called the path of least resistance, okay? It's essentially the most energy sparing, efficient way to do it. But the issue where it becomes problematic is the most efficient way is not always the most effective way, okay? And over time, we can sort of be feeding into a dysfunctional pattern, which is then going to lead to overuse, chronic issues, chronic pain, that sort of stuff. So yes, there are more optimal positions in terms of postures than others, but the best posture is currently the posture you're not doing. Okay, so if I spend a lot of my time, obviously, on the computer or on the couch in this hunched position, okay, so again, we're in a kyphotic posture, it's going to affect the positions I can get into. So again, for example, like an overhead raise. So if you do this at home now, think about trying to hunch as much as you can, and all we want to do now is try and raise the arms overhead. You notice you have a real hard time to do it, okay? You actually get stopped pretty much before you can actually get into that position. But if you reverse that and give yourself a little bit more extension through that upper back, you'd be amazed at the difference that makes in achieving that overhead position. Okay, so again, reinforcing the idea that posture is going to influence the positions we can get into, and your posture is going to be, adapted by, tasks of every day. So that can be, lifestyle factors, seated, being on the couch, on your computer. It can be work-related, just the demands of everyday tasks. All right, so it's really important to understand that the best posture for you is essentially the posture we're not doing. So if you're in that position at the moment, think about trying to drive a little bit more extension. So what I'll do here, guys, is I'll just do a few little, exercises you can do to help open you up, give you a little more thoracic extension, which is then going to help get you into a better position and overall posture as well. Okay team, so now we're going to work through to start with, though, to allow us to get a little bit more extension and get into a more optimal, posture by reversing the current posture that we're in, is doing some soft tissue release work. Okay, why this is important is essentially allows us to reduce any sort of tension and decrease the tone of the muscle to allow us then to be a bit more effective with our mobility-based drills that we do. So the first thing here, team, is you're either going to need a foam roller. So with the foam roller, it doesn't need to be foam, it can be like PVC piping, really any hard surface that you can sort of utilise that can sort of roll, and ideally a massage ball. Now with the massage ball, it can be a bouncy ball, it can be a golf ball, it can be a shitty tennis ball. $2 ones generally work the best. That's just going to allow you to pinpoint, those deeper, hard to get muscle fibers. So from here, team, we're going to work through to start with the foam roller. So we're going to work again that thoracic spine, which is going to be that upper segment of your back. So it's a small area. From here, we don't want to start all the way at the neck. So you want to sort of be in between the shoulder blades to start. And from here to start as well, the hips will be on the ground, but then we'll take the hips off slightly, hands across the chest to start, and just use your feet as a guide to be able to roll you back and forward, okay? And with this team, you want to work about 20 reps, and just roll them back and forward, working that upper segment there of the spine. Once you've done that, team, we're now going to bring the hands behind the head just to open us up, to give us a little bit more extension. But again, like we touched on before, we don't want to compensate through extension of the lower back. So we want to think about that rib cage down, so the core is on and that rib cage pelvis is stacked, so that all the extension then is coming through that upper back. Okay, there's no point here if I'm cramming through extension to the lower back, see I'm not working on that specific area that I want to work on. So we're trying to get that extension through that upper back. So again, 20 reps there, team. Once you've done that, then staying with the foam roller, we're going to do a lat stretch. So with the lat, see it has multiple attachment points, but it's going to influence our ability to achieve overhead, but also it can further drive, that rounded hunch position. So with this team, we're just going to have the foam roller under the armpits, and then I'm just going to be rolling back and forward. So with this team, again, throughout it, if you feel any tight spots, just spend a little bit more time isolating that area. So just doing small rolls at that area. Again, the biggest thing here is you want to make sure you're still breathing through it. It's really common for people, and you'll see the facial expressions, that when they hit a point that's a little bit higher than others, they'll sort of clinch up, and then all we're doing there is, again, creating more tension. So I want you to really try and again, relax, use your general typical breathing where you're working that diaphragmatic breathing to help to decrease some tension there. So again, you'll do each side there. And then we're going to work through with our massage ball. So with the massage ball, we're going to do the pecs and also the rear delt. Okay, reason being is we're tight here and that muscle shortened, that's going to further pull us into that sort of kyphotic rounded posture. So the best way to do it, guys, is either find a space on the wall so you can have the ball between you and the wall. If you don't have a space to do it, simply just with your hand applying pressure and just pushing in to where the pec and the shoulder meet. With this can be pretty yucky, so you might feel, I got one straight away, areas that are tight. Again, spend a little bit more time on a certain area if it feels a little bit more yucky than others. So there's no fast rule on this team. Again, if you feel there's not much tension there, then you just move to the next area. Okay, so you can doing each side, and then we're going to work into the rear delt. So with the rear delt, we can do it from the floor or we can do it from the wall. So if you're already the wall, we might as well stay there. But from here, with this, guys, we're going to be working back of the shoulder, and then we'll sort of work down to the triceps. So I'm sort of more doing like side to side opposed to back and forward. So side to side. Again, if you feel an area, just spend a bit more time where you can roll sort of forward and back on it until it starts to release. Perfect, team. So that is our soft tissue release work. So now hopefully we've decreased some tension within those fibers to allow us to be a bit more purposeful with our mobility-based drills that we'll do. Alright, team, good work, guys. So now we've hopefully decreased a little bit of that muscle tension, improve the muscle quality itself, and now we can be a bit more purposeful with our mobility-based drills and get a little bit more out of it. So we're going to do 2 drills here. The first one we're going to work through to get a little bit more extension is our cat camel, but we're going to use and utilize our breath to be able to drive a little bit more movement. Okay, so from here with our setup, it's a normal routine, so we're going to have hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips. So a normal cycle, we're working, again, reaching away, flexing the upper back, rounding, and then we're reversing that posture by extending the lower back, pinching the shoulders. Now what we're going to do is going to add in a breath to be able to drive a little bit more movement, okay? So from here, what I want you to think, as you're pressing the ground away and driving through the palms, we're also going to be thinking about breathing away from the ground, okay? So imagine there's like a candle in between your arms, just trying to blow the candle out. So it's that big breath. As I breathe away, I'm rounding, driving away, and then I'm controlling back down. Again, a little bit of extension, reset. So into the nose, big belly full of air. As I breathe away, I'm rounding and pushing. So with that, team, you want to be quite aggressive with it. You probably could hear me really breathing away. So I'm trying to really drive that position through the upper back. And once I'm there, what I can focus on as well is actually doing a few breaths in this rounded position. So I'm thinking about breathing into that upper back. So into the nose. As I breathe out, I'm then working extension, so we can reverse it. So again, big breath into the upper back, and then as I breathe out, trying to think about driving a little bit of more extension through that upper back. Okay, so again, that's going to allow us to get into a better position through that thoracic spine. So that is number 1. Number 2, we're going to be working a hike back. So with the hike back, obviously we use it as a push-up to hike back, but it actually reinforces not only sort of shoulder blade movement of the working around the ribcage, so getting some nice upward rotation going around, but also allows us to get a little bit more extension. Okay, so in this position, what I want you to think about is, again, really reaching away, but I want to be staring back at my toes, so I'm driving that position. So if I'm here, I'm not getting that extension that I want. So I want to think about really driving, reaching away, staring back at the toes, and then working back. Okay, so with this, we'll do 8 to 10. Really think about reaching back at the toes. So hopefully, guys, that's given you a few little drills that you can do as part of your daily routine, okay, to be able to reverse that posture and the demands of every day that we're sort of currently in. So again, understanding that posture is dictated by that environment that you're in and the task that you perform. So if you're constantly in a seated, hunched position, the best posture for you is to be able to reverse that, okay? And these are some, I guess, go-to drills you can do, making sure first though, guys, we're doing that soft tissue work to then get the most out of those mobility-based drills. If you've got any questions, guys, just shoot them below. More than happy to help as much as we can.